All right, so you look outside on a super cold, frozen day, you see your bird bath, and you probably think, well, that's pretty useless right now. But what if I told you that simple basin of water is one of the most vital things for birds when it's freezing? Today, we're going to debunk the biggest myths about winter bird baths and find out why water might just be even more important than food.
Yeah, this probably sounds familiar. You see the ice, you see the snow, and you think, what's the point? The birds can't use that. And you know what? It's a really common thought, and it seems to make perfect sense.
And then on top of that, there's the totally practical concern, right? The fear that a solid block of ice is just going to crack your favorite bird bath right in half. And look, that's a real fear. It stops a lot of well-meaning people from even trying to help out.
But what if those fears are mostly misplaced? What if almost all of that is just wrong? We're about to see how these common beliefs might actually be preventing us from providing something absolutely essential for the birds in our backyards.
So, this gets us right to the heart of it, the big cold water question. When the whole landscape is frozen solid, what do birds really need to survive? Well, the answer, as we're about to find out, is a lot simpler and a lot wetter than you might think.
Okay, let's get things off by tackling the biggest misconception of all. This idea that when it's winter, water just isn't a big priority for birds. The myth is this idea that, hey, birds can just peck at snow or get what they need from their food. They'll be fine. But the reality? Oh, it's a completely different story. Birds absolutely need access to liquid water every single day to make it through the winter. And the reasons why are pretty critical. And here's the why behind it all. Water is crucial for them to digest all those dry seeds they find. It helps them regulate their body temperature. But get this, eating snow actually forces a bird to burn precious calories and body heat just to melt it. That's a huge energy cost. Suddenly, that little bird bath in your yard goes from being just a nice-to-have to a literal life-saving oasis. All right, so now that we've covered why they need water, let's tackle the next big category of myths, and these are all about safety. Safety for the birds and, for our bird baths themselves. So, here's that big fear we mentioned earlier. The myth is that as soon as it freezes, that ice is going to expand and boom, your bird bath is ruined. The truth, though, is that damage like that is actually pretty rare, and it's almost entirely preventable. And the ways to prevent it are ridiculously simple. You can use water materials like plastic or rubber that have some give. Or, hey, just don't fill the basin all the way to the top. That gives the ice room to expand upwards instead of outwards. Even just pouring in some fresh water daily can stop it from freezing solid. And if you really want to make it easy on yourself, a simple little bird bath heater, yeah, that just solves the whole problem. And speaking of heaters, that brings up another myth, that they create some kind of dangerous, unnatural hot tub for birds. The reality is, well, it's a lot less dramatic. These little heaters are just designed to keep the water temperature barely above freezing. It's not a hot tub, it's not a spa, it's just water that isn't a block of ice. Okay, now this next one is where things get really counterintuitive. I mean, everything we know as humans tells us that getting wet when it's freezing is a terrible idea, right? A potential death sentence. But for a bird, a quick bath is actually a key to survival because clean feathers are warm feathers.
Here's the cool science behind that. Think about it. A bird's feathers are this incredible piece of natural engineering. They're designed to be water resistant and to trap a layer of air right next to their body, which acts like a down jacket. But when those feathers get dirty and matted, that system breaks down, letting cold air in. A quick dip cleans the feathers, it fluffs them back up, restores that perfect insulation, and actually helps the birds stay warmer. How wild is that?
So we've busted some big myths. Let's talk about the positive reality of the situation. Because providing water in the winter isn't just critical for birds, it's also incredibly easy for us to do. Now, if you're thinking, oh great, another demanding backyard chore, just hold on. The myth is that this is going to be a ton of constant work. But the reality? Honestly, it's often less work than keeping your bird feeder filled all the time. I mean, check out how simple this routine is. 1, put the bath somewhere sunny and out of the wind. 2, just top it off with fresh water once a day. And 3, if a little shell of ice forms, you just pop it out. That's it. Seriously, that's the whole routine. And if you want to go for the gold standard, the perfect winter setup, here's your checklist. Shallow water is key, just an inch or 2. Put it near some bushes so birds have cover and a quick escape route. A little sun helps.
And if you add a heater, well, you've got the ultimate low-maintenance, high-impact setup.
And look, this is what all that simple effort adds up to for the birds. It is so much more than just giving them a drink of water. You're helping them conserve precious energy, maintain their life-saving feather insulation, stay hydrated, and just reduce the enormous stress of trying to survive in the freezing cold.
So what's the big takeaway here? We put so much focus on putting out bird seed in the winter, which is great. Don't stop doing that. But there's something else we can do that has a massive, massive impact.
Just one. That's it. Adding just one reliable, accessible water source to your backyard is one of the single most impactful things you can possibly do to support your local birds when the temperatures really drop.
And that really is the heart of it, isn't it? It doesn't have to be some huge, complicated, expensive project. Sometimes the biggest, most meaningful impact comes from the smallest, simplest change right there in our own backyard.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you look out your window on a cold day, you'll see your feeder is full, and that is fantastic. You're doing a great thing. But take a look around and just ask yourself, are your birds still thirsty?